Nice.
Hey everybody, my name is Hagen from Lettuce Comics. Welcome back to This Old House. I'm joined by Nate from Hollyat Comics, and we've got a very special friend with us today, Jason from Archivist Adrift. Jason, how are you doing today, bud?
Terrific. Thanks for having me on. And this is live, right? We're live?
We are
believe
live.
So I just got to ask, where did that bit come from?
I don't know. I just felt right.
I do love it every time it happens, but I'm like, oh, okay, so there's Archivist, and now he's asking if it's live. Okay, cool.
You can never be too sure.
I have a follow-up question. Is it Archivist Adrift or Archivist Adrift?
Yeah, that's the big debate.
I've said both.
Yeah, Chonko actually dug into that as well, and I think we go with either or. So whatever feels comfortable to you, that'll work. So
what a diplomatic answer.
I think I say both even on in the videos. So sometimes I'm archivist and sometimes I'm archivist. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Hey, this is the Sunday comic book Hangover show, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not actually This Old House. I bamboozled you.
Oh, all right.
But here to watch the Sunday comic book Hangover show is Matt from Impress. Hey, buddy, how are you?
Hey,
We've also got Jason from Renegade Rants.
Jason.
Hi there.
And Matt from Matt Likes Comics. Hey, buddy.
Morning, buddy.
Hi,
Matt. Brian, lovely comic stallion, is here.
Ooh, good one.
I tried to come up with one right off the cuff. I think that I'm proud of that one. I think that one worked.
That's good. Yeah.
We've also got Wellbore. Hey,
all the way from Canada, Brad. Hey, buddy.
The lovely JSS Brooklyn, who just did a show on Rob's Fat Stacks of Comics that everybody should go check out if you didn't see it live.
Yes, I need to. It's in my queue. I wasn't home yesterday.
We've got Mark's Issues with Archie Comics and Chris Parker. And I'm trying to see. I
saw Rich in there somewhere.
Where is Rich? There you are. Hey, buddy.
And Doug. Doug's here.
Let me find a Doug comment. Where is Doug? Oh, he came in later. There he is. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
And I think that's just about everybody. So going back to your name, if I can ask really quick, Archivist Adrift or Archivist Adrift or Archivist Adrift. It's an odd name, like it's not Comics with Jason or Jason's Comics or Cabbage Comics, something normal. So where did that name come from?
Well, Adrift was pretty much the username I've been using since I think 1998 or something like that. So throughout social media, I think back in the day I was into drum and bass for a little bit, and there was an artist called Goldie, and he had an album, and I just needed a name. I couldn't figure out what. I ran the album title, it was Adrift, and I was like, oh, that's okay. I'll use that. So that's how I got the name, and then I've been using that throughout social media. And then when I went to a comic shop, and the owner, he was discussing with someone about rusted staples and how he had a problem with, like, he wished that he could, there was a way to deal with rusted staples, and he's like, but of course there isn't. I'm like, well, no, there's ways to deal with rusted staples. And he was like, really? I'm like, yeah, you could use evapor rust, and there's other methods. And he's like, oh, okay. Do you have a YouTube channel? I'm like, well, actually I do. But when I looked for my name, or actually when I sent him the link to my name, to my YouTube account, I kept on coming up with other Adrifts. And I was like, okay, so I need something a little bit more distinct. And of course, since I'm digging into these old books, mostly Golden Age books, I just, the archive kind of came through that. So I thought about like shortening to like just maybe Archive Adrift, or but Archivist I think works as well. So it doesn't really roll off the tongue, but
I don't think it's clunky. I love it because I've always kind of tried to justify my hoarding of comic books as being like archiving them.
The archive,
like it's a historical thing. I'm keeping them, for posterity. So
Right.
I kind of felt like you had the same pretension about your sickness,
But
except you actually have skill, man.
oh, thank you.
Like, you really do.
Appreciate that.
And no, we'll get into that for sure. Yeah, and you talk. Matt from Impressed is here, and he talks about cleaning and pressing.
Yeah.
But I notice in your videos, you really mostly talk about it as conservation.
Right.
And there's cleaning, pressing, there's conservation, there's restoration. And
Yeah.
I feel like they're all kind of the same thing. It just is more about the philosophical approach of the person doing the work.
Yeah, they're overlapping worlds in my mind. Like I see them as distinct. Like what he's doing is I kind of lean into that a little bit, and he leans a little bit into my world. But there's kind of I don't want to say paths, but almost like little circles where people kind of concentrate in certain areas, and that sometimes has a lot to do with the type of books that you guys are working on. So we're working on, say, silver and under. A conservation method might be more appropriate, mainly because those are the books that are falling apart the most, Whereas silver and up, you're really dealing with a clean and press, but I don't mean it as just a clean and press, because the attention to detail that someone like Impress is working on is almost out of my scope. They're really detail oriented to like seeing flaws that are really hard to find, and it's something I'm trying to work towards. But like I said, everyone's got their specialty.
And then what's your, like, I feel like the videos of yours I've been watching, you've really been focusing. It's been a multi-parter, this Golden Age book, but is that your wheelhouse? You really like to work on those older books?
Yeah, I just feel I love the feeling of healing comic books, and Golden Age. Well, they need the healing because there's very few of them that have lasted 70, 80 years and are still together, and I can be a little bit more abusive with them. I can't do the things that I can do with them that I would be able to do with like a silver or a bronze. The ink is usually laid on much heavier in Golden Age books, so you can actually put them through a bath and all that kind of thing without worrying about too much ink bleed. Whereas when you get into the silver and Bronze Age, I mean, it could be all over the place. And also the paper quality is in a sense worse because it's just still using that old pulp paper. Whereas, but there's they do have a bit more of a durability when you're handling them as compared to Silver Age, which almost feels like tissue paper when you're working it sometimes. So you really have to be really careful, and I don't have the time and patience to be careful. I just want to get in and pound on the stuff,
I got to tell you, I'm super impressed with anybody that can take a book apart and like submerge it in water. And I don't really even understand how it's possible, because I mean, I spilled ramen on a Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow trade paperback and it got all wrinkly. And so like that's pretty much the same thing as a water bath. And so I don't understand how the book like holds up after that.
The ramen bath is an advanced technique. You're not ready for it.
I'm not ready for it either. You have to remember that these comics were made in water. So when the pulp is combined, put together, there's water is used throughout the whole entire process of the creation of these comics. So essentially, all you're doing is just taking it back to where it came from. And so as long as you're not getting water in unequal places, as long as you're kind of soaking everything all together, you're usually fairly safe. It's the ink that you have to kind of worry about.
Hagen, I think you have to make this video of noodling around with books.
Oh, and then can somebody ban Matt?
I love that. That's awesome.
And then you do your ramen press. A couple new people have jumped in, and somebody up here, I gotta say something here from Mark. Thank you, Mark. We did the CBC finalists were announced. and I don't know, I was blown away. Like, I was blown away. It was really cool to see a lot of people that I love to watch got our finalists, and
Same.
so it was really, really cool. A lot of you guys that are finalists are here now. I mean, Matt from Impressed is, you know, a finalist in the cleaning and pressing, along with our other friend Johnny. You know, Archivist, come on, you know, maybe next year we'll get you in there too. But it's very cool. And then somebody said they already did their voting, which I don't understand at all, because I have to have all of the like existential crises and nerves and anxiety, and I need the pressure of procrastination to make things happen. That's just my character.
Well,
but it was really cool.
Yeah, watching the live last night or the other night, felt like a NFL draft picks, and every time I saw a name that I loved, I was like, "Yeah, all right."
I know.
Yeah.
Brandon from Mon Comics, a finalist in 2 categories, but every time someone would pop up, like, he and I would shout that name out in the show. Like, you just feel like an idiot, like you just have echolalia, you know. But it was really cool. Brian LCS putting all that together, and very cool. So JSS dropped the link. Go vote if you're so inclined, or think about your choices and worry about them for the next couple months, because you got time. You got time. But the thing is, like, it's such a good chance to check out channels that maybe you don't know, and there definitely were some that I'm not familiar with, and I always like to, like, that's what I did last year. I added a ton of channels to my subs, and I think that's really kind of the heart of what this is. It's a community award, you know, and it's really cool, but it's mostly about growing the community. So definitely, if there's people you don't know that are finalists, check them out, and you can still go to the nominations list and check out channels as well. And there's a ton this year.
I was going to say, I'm planning on subscribing to all the finalists, because if you're not aware, we were selected to host the show for whatever stupid reason. I want to be familiar with everybody that could end up winning an award, and I think that they deserve, like, they deserve my time, like, honestly. So
absolutely.
I that's what I'm going to try and do. I would encourage other people to do that as well, just like you said, Nate. And come on out and see. I believe, speaking of the awards, that we can stop talking about them in just a second. We're not just going to promote ourselves for the next month, but I believe we're in direct competition with Matt Likes Comics. It's either this show or the Tuesday Hangout. I don't remember which.
It's this show. One of the it's like stacked. We're against Church, K-pop, and Matt.
Oh wow!
And I say against, but like with, like, I'm not upset at all to see somebody else get chosen, because these are all people I love, and you know, channels that I enjoy watching. So I just think it's really cool. It's really cool, top to bottom. And my last thing I'm going to say is, we are nominated, like, in together and individually, and we're hosting. But Brian has let us know that, you know, there's no like collusion or anything. We agreed to host way before the finalists were announced, and if we are, you know, in a category, we're not going to be the ones presenting that. It'll go to a guest presenter, and we're
going to be off screen manipulating the Excel document so that we've won. We're not going to present it. We don't.
And then we'll come back and be like, another one. Yeah.
I didn't even think I did cleaning and pressing content, but okay.
Right.
So that's enough about the CBC Awards for now. Let's, because that's going to go on for a while. But back to what you do. I just want to say too, like, your video quality is so cool. Like, the way your top. So if you don't subscribe to Jason on Archivist Adrift, somebody with a wrench, please drop a link in there, because you should. It, like, you have good music, you have good clear video, and then you just show the witchcraft that you do, like, where you take a golden age, you know, and you call it a wrap, and I'm like, that's a page, but it's, you know, you're taking this book apart, and one at a time, you're putting them between these pieces of paper and spraying them with distilled water. Is that the safe water?
I believe it's curry ramen.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Or ramen water. Yeah, for sure. No. Yeah. We initially I was using distilled water, but I think that we're kind of moving away from that because we're thinking that's kind of stripping the minerals out of the paper and whatnot. So now I just use filtered tap water, which I prefer because it's cheaper. So that's always a bonus. I was going through gallons of like distilled water, and I'm like, okay, I can't do this. But I thank you for saying that about the quality of the channel. I'd say like the actual working on the comics is like 40% of the time it takes. The other 60% is editing the videos. So I'm actually, as I'm learning how to do this crap, I'm actually learning how to edit. So that's the the Jesus Sonic anime.
There's not much Golden Age Sonic left.
That's true.
They're hard to find.
One day, maybe. But yeah, I'm always trying to improve my video quality, and then so if I can get that down, and I know I had a little bit of mic issues earlier today, but I'm trying to work on all that kind of stuff as well. So hopefully I can get the streaming stuff down too.
But you know what? That's like, that's cool. Like that's what people need to hear is that if you're going to jump into doing this stuff, like you're never going to figure it out beforehand. You figure it out while you go. You figure it out by jacking something up.
Yeah.
Which is something else like that I love about your channel is it's warts and all. Like when you make a mistake, when something bad happens, when something unexpected happens, you highlight it and examine it. You don't cut that and not share it. Like I think that's it's unique in what I've seen so far. Like and as a teacher, that's huge because that's what people need to do is you do something, you try it, you have these, you can call it mistakes or whatever, but like the things that don't go the way you expect or the things that are clunky, that's what you can iron out later. You have to get in and move forward. And so the fact that everything is a process, right? Like you're cleaning and pressing, you're learning as you go, you're YouTubing, streaming, you're learning as you go. I think that's freaking powerful. So
yeah, one other thing thank you. The thing I loved about when I first started getting into this hobby and watching other videos is everyone has their own sort of a thing that they're doing. So for instance, you have Jerry who is he's got so much charisma and so much Jerry the Jitterbug I'm referring to. So much charisma, so much when you're watching I would watch his content regardless of what he's creating. He himself is entertaining. Someone like Sales Boy Comics, who's another conservationist, he's just got a very kind of just a very a sense of humor throughout his videos that are just very, very funny stuff. You have Peter Alachi, Professor Peter Alachi, who is kind of doing. He's a professor, so he's really kind of digging into the dirt of experimentation. And then Dr. Paul Kosnick, his videos are very instructional. And I just wanted to put my channel in there because I was seeing all these videos from other people, and I was so blown away with everything that they were doing, but no one was like really distressed about like ruining something. And I'm like, I want to show like this is how you really feel when you're, and not to say that not showing that is not appropriate. It's just appropriate for their channel not to show that. For my channel, I wanted to show the other side of, this is hard, and I want people to understand that it's not easy and it's okay to feel upset about if everything doesn't go right.
Yeah, it's really cool. And just recently, I don't know, it was a couple days ago that I watched it. I don't know how recent it was, but your vacuum machine put a texture on the paper that you were using, and you were just like, I've never seen this happen before.
Yeah, what do I do?
Right. And so it's like I said, you have an expertise, but it's neat to see that even somebody who knows what they're doing is still learning while they're doing that. That process never stops, and I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, thank you.
Hold on, I got a snarky response too.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. the term safe word came up in chat and I got distracted. So
and there's my canned response.
So you do a lot and you show a lot of really, really awesome Golden Age books. Did you start with those, or did you start with like dollar bin diving, or tell us the story. Give us the story.
First of all, watching Jerry, the Jitterbug. I mean, so I mentioned this on Mike and Red, the Chonko and Big Nasty's channel. How I kind of got into all this was I was watching Bob Baumgartner restoration videos. He's he's amazing.
Oh my God.
Fine art restorationist and
a wizard.
Yes. And then somehow, and I had been out of comics for a little bit. I mean, I'd pick up a book here and there, but and then I started watching Jerry the Jitterbug's channel, and I'm like, wait, this is like my peanut butter and chocolate combined. This is the two passions, my two loves, restoration and comic books. You can do this. And then he was constantly telling his audience, hey, you don't have to spend a fortune in order to pick up Golden Age books. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, that's what? Yes, mere mortals can pick up Golden Age books. And so when I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, that's great. So did I jump right into Golden Age? No, but almost. I did start off with like dollar bin books, and working with actual like Silver Age books, some Dells, and they're actually pretty hardy for Silver Age. So I was able to beat on those quite a bit. And anything that kind of caught my eye, I might have a book around here, but that caught my eye that I thought I could work on. That's what I kind of started on. But it didn't take me too long before I started looking at my Golden Age stuff, and I thought, well, I can't make it worse, So that's how.
So it's funny to me that you said you did some dollar books and stuff, because especially now the slick magazine paper, like I feel like that must be a completely different approach. You'd have to go back to like 80s and 90s to still have, newsprint that is more like what, more traditional, I guess I'd say. Yeah. But when you so Matt from Impress said he did like 200 books of his own before he touched anybody else's. Mm-hmm. That leap for you, that first Golden Age book that you pulled the staples out of and pulled apart, like, were you just like, I mean, whatever you spent on it, were you like, well, this is my $100 worth of learning or whatever?
Or more or less. Yeah. That was the recommendation to me was work on a ton of the cheap stuff. But the thing is, I can't work on something that I don't care about. I have to be passionate about it. So it was really kind of a thing where I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and work on these big books because I love these things. And if I ruin them, oh well. I mean, at least I'll get it. I'll deal with it. I'll just be very careful. So the first thing I really worked on was a Karl Barks pre-Disney adult magazine, not magazine, but like pamphlet that he had created back in the late 20s. And this thing was wrecked. It was completely waterlogged, and it was complete garbage. I have it around here someplace, but I figured I can't make this worse. So let's see what I can do with this. And that's been kind of my approach getting into like the Golden Age stuff, was that these books are so beat up that they're falling apart literally. They're not good to anyone. I mean, you can view them through a case maybe, or through a polybag, but I mean, what's the fun of that? So I decided to just dive right in. But I mean, I went through about 5 practice books before I jumped into the Golden Age stuff. And even with the Golden Age stuff, I wasn't really experimenting with anything that was really expensive, $15, $20, $30 books, that kind of thing.
$20 Golden Age books?
Oh yeah. You can pick up Golden Age for I picked up $5, $10 Golden Age books. Yeah.
I don't need to know that.
Well, if you get like something like Daredevil, the original Daredevil,
yeah.
when he leaves the book, and it's like three goofy kids running around.
Right. It's like a funnies, like
right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, westerns. There are so many Western Golden Age, and they are you can pick them up for $1 each.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
Matt brings up a really important point, and that is that you have agreed to be a part of Operation Achy Breaky for next year. So that's really exciting to me.
Yeah.
We have the four of us from the FOMO squad getting the books, giving them to four community pressers, conservationists, and just seeing what kind of grade we can get out of it in a 3-day con, because that's stupid. And so I'm really excited to have you on board for that too.
I just want to be on the creator's side of the equation and just be like, what is going on? Like,
I think the first one, and even like, because we'll line up right behind each other, and I really hope we can all just get the same person, because the first one's going to get a laugh, the second one's going to get the crook eye, and the third and fourth one, they're going to think something's up, and it is. We're bringing Cyrus back to the people.
Yeah, if you see on like Comic Tom the week after that in like the 8 or 9 spot a Billy Ray Cyrus book, then you know that he's got sources at CGC. The submission
he did that. What is aside from you got into cleaning and pressing and restoration, but what is your like? Who's your character? Like, what is it about comics you love? Is it the art? Is it a character? Is it books that you like to read? Like, how did you get into this to a point that you said, I want to keep these alive. I want to make, I love this, because that is the thing with you guys, is like, I'll put it in a bag and I'll put it in a box and I'll keep it as good as I can. But you guys are like, you're finding ones that need saved and really keeping them, in shape for the next group, whoever comes after us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, it's definitely the art, especially from that Golden Age period, because there's something crude and raw about it that they're still trying to, especially early 40s stuff, or up until about the end of the war. You really get a sense that they're still trying to figure out this as a medium, and so they're still pulling so many things from the pulps, and that's their kind of template. And so I love the quality of artwork and the just sort of naivety and the simpleness of behind it all. And that's what I'm looking for. I love, like, especially some of the less big characters. Like, I'm not so big into DC or Marvel, mostly because I can't afford them. But the Needor books, the Fox publishing books, the Centaur, if I could. Well, those are kind of outside of my range. But yeah, the smaller groups.
Centaur?
Oh, not that.
I have a thing.
Maybe. Well, we can talk about that off camera.
Is that's a publisher, or that's a?
Yeah, it was a publisher. They were one of the early big publishers. Well, I don't know if I would call them big, but the books are really hard to get because they're just so rare, and they have some amazing covers. So I know that I think Alan's got one or two, and I almost a whole book. So they in the Golden Age, oftentimes, and I guess still today, people would bind their favorite comics together. So I have actually a bound volume of Fox feature publishing books, and I unbound those. These are from the 1939 to 1942 or something like that. And so that's a future project of mine, where I'm going to go through each of these books and see what I can do with them. Unfortunately, they trim the books when they put them in the bound editions, but I could work around that maybe.
Well, yeah, I saw like, and I can't remember the title. It didn't make much sense to me. It was like an 80s run of something that somebody really liked. They said they're never going to collect this. And so they had a bookbinder turn it into a hardcover.
Yeah.
And it looked cool, but
Yeah.
at the same time, I was just like, I think it was stitched into the back to to turn it into a book. And I just thought, man, that kind of like, it's cool, but at the same time, it kind of ruins it. Like you've created this
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
but I don't know how you could get that back.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking when you see it because you're like, oh man, these are gorgeous books, but in a way they kind of, especially with the Golden Age stuff, they tend to preserve the color and the pop of the pages because oftentimes these books are, they've been sitting in someone's attic for 80 years and they're all grayed out or yellowed, and sometimes that bookbinding process does actually save them, even though you're popping holes through them and you've trimmed them and all that kind of thing. But the book itself is usually much brighter than you'll find with books that were sitting in someone's basement or something. I don't really have a problem with it so much with the modern age books. If it's like a run that no one really cares about, do what you want. They're your books. You can probably find those same books in any dollar bin anywhere, But yeah, I get what you're saying, though.
Well,
yeah, I find it
I think it was like
because
oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that I've seen like craft projects where it's like if you've got old comic books, you can do like a wall display, or you can do like a Ray William Johnson wall or something like that, And I've looked at books where I've got this one where there's like cigarette ash on the cover, and the cover is completely and totally useless. Like I don't want anything to do with it. So I could take the inside of it and do something with it. And I've had the scissors in my hand before, and I can't make myself do it, like to destroy a comic book like that. I just can't do it.
Okay, it's funny.
I know they feel safe, don't they?
Yeah, I have this Adventure Comics. It's a 12 center, and I've had this since I was a kid, and I was going through. I actually ended up buying another one because that's what I do. And I was looking at this one and I realized it's incomplete. Like the middle, it just stopped. It went from like page 6 to page 20.
Oh, wow.
So it only had a few pages in it. I don't know what happened to the middle. And I was in the same boat. I was like, okay, I'm gonna, I've seen people like take comics and Mod Podge them to their short boxes or something to make them look cool. I did like take this page out because it was a full page, and I put it on a piece of cardboard so that I could have a backer for when I shoot a short. I can use this as the backer board because it's more interesting than a big. But it still killed me to do it. Like to take just this one page out. It it feels wrong.
Yeah.
It feels wrong to do.
Yeah.
But
well, these bound books, from the Golden Age, these were the early collectors. This is probably pre-collecting. These kids are like, these are my favorite comics, and I want to save them forever. And like the bound volume that I had, I think it was bound probably at least in the late 50s or early 60s, and it's comic books from the early 40s. So as far as I can tell, it's probably something that this kid collected when he was a young kid and didn't realize that, these things will be collectible one day. They're just comics, and then had someone professionally buying them here in Ohio, and they came into my possession, So yeah, I feel you, but there's something kind of special about that process as well, because there's a sort of provenance and there's something very human about that whole thing of wanting to hold on to something that you have and protecting it,
Yeah, I do think that's cool. I think there's some lag on your end. I don't know if maybe Jason, if you want to hop out and then back in, that might help.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're just gonna have to talk to each other for a couple minutes to just kill time or something.
I just
like we're contractually obligated to, so I guess we can. But
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So how was your day yesterday?
Oh, it was fine until you started talking to me. But no, like we'll talk about Jason very briefly while he's gone. I'm always fascinated by like he adds material to pages, like he does full on restoration. And I just I don't understand it. I don't understand how something like that is possible.
Well, they just even like pulling the staples out and knowing how to put the staples back, like watching and I was, that video that Jeff from Comic Spa did with Mike, where they and Jeff, like, he just had a piece of homemade wood that he put the staples in. Like, it's not like it's so clunky, like the way this whole thing works. It's not there is precision to it, but at the same time it's like DIY. So it's just kind of a wild process to me to watch these guys take these books apart and put them back together. And Jason's, I mean, he is that, the aqueous bath where they spray it with water. And that just kills me, because I'm like, the ink should be running. The pages should be wavy when this is all over, because that's what ramen does to a trade paperback. Why does water not do that to a 100-year-old book?
Every single time I try and do a ramen bath, every single time. I don't know why I keep trying. It'll work one of these days.
It's gonna. I really think that's a good bit.
I think it was
impressing.
I think it was Matt who said that a good bit idea for me would be to try and clean and press a Namor comic book with the ramen bath method. And I think I might end up doing that.
Yeah, that would be great. I don't have the guts. I have I don't know about you, but like, I know we both watched and I still do sometimes, James Mint Hunter. And he had a whole thing about how he cleans and presses books, and I watched that, and I got the cotton rounds, and I got the erasers and all the things that he recommended, and I've done like maybe twice where I've sat down and tried to like clean something up and just been like, this will take forever. It's a whole different, it's its own hobby. Yeah. And I'm full. I have enough hobbies.
I've done that thing with the cotton rounds where like they say you have to be very gentle with it, and I've gone to like a page where I can visually see it's dirty, and I'll pick a white part and I'll very gently go over it, and then 20 minutes later there's like this one like square centimeter that's done, and then I look at the rest of the book, and then I go do something else instead.
Right. It's not, I don't have the patience for it, I guess, but
and then knowing what people charge per pressing, like it's a vast gulf of stuff, but like there are pressers that will work on your books for as little as like $8, and then there are ones that will go like more than that. But regardless, like, it is so much time. I can't imagine that's a profitable business to own, like, as your sole source of income.
Talking to Jeff from Comic Spa, he's just like, he said, you'll price yourself out if you charge too much, and I get that, but like you said, it's the hours and hours that it would take, and I'm just thinking, what is that, 25 cents an hour, like when you get the but I don't know if you're just getting a quick if it's just going in a press, if they're not doing much beyond that, it's just about setting it up and then letting it sit. But there's a big difference when it's got all those imperfections and creases and things. And I love,
like, if you've got a really if you've got a really simple book to work on, like one of these, like this shouldn't take you very long to work on.
Easy. That's
easy.
An easy book.
It's dime a dozen, and it was basically a 9.0 when I got it. I just got Jeff to bring it up to like a 9.2 or a 9.4. I'm sure that Matt from Impress could have made it a 9.8 candidate, but
everything's a 9.8 candidate with that guy.
We can't all be Matt.
That's why I'm scared to go against you in the Operation Achy Breaky, because he's going to take one look at Cyrus and go, all right. I mean, it's right now it's a 9.2, but I'm going to get it to a 9.9. Mm-hmm. It does have a cardstock cover. Like, and those are the ones that can get to a 9.9. So if we could really find a pristine one, I would just die to see that.
I have a feeling it's gonna happen because like I'm actually weirdly taking this seriously. Like I even when I'm buying books online, like I don't look at condition as long as it's there and it's whole. Like I really don't care. But with this, I'm zooming in and I'm like, what does this corner look like? Can I see any white on this corner? Is there like anything else like what exactly is going on there? And I'm trying to get like a high grade example of this book. So yeah, it's gonna be great.
I have poured over and there's been a couple of Billy Ray Cyrus books on eBay where I'm like, they didn't take high enough res pictures, so I'm not even looking at it. I have poured over those pictures, really looking for ones that are crisp.
Yeah. So Jason, help us out. We're looking for tips on how to find high grade, cardboard covered, square bound books on the internet. So no reason in particular.
Just eBay, I guess. Oh man, that's probably out of my wheelhouse.
Oh, that is funny.
Sorry about the internet there for a second. I'm just jumping onto my Wi-Fi here.
Oh my god, you're a YouTuber with 2 rooms in their house. Perish
well,
all of us only have one.
Yeah.
Well, this is where all the magic happens. This is where I'm actually. Yeah, this is actually my studio, which is my dining room. So whatever.
Did I see? Oh, there he is. Hey, buddy, here's my friend Chris. Jason Lee's it's. I mean, there are things that we talk about and get. I mean, we talked about Heroes Con for a year, but I am really stoked about how stupid this is, and I hope as many people as possible decide to jump on. It does not have to just be our thing. I think the more people that take a Billy Ray Cyrus book to get 3-day quick graded, the better. If it all happens on one weekend.
The unfortunate thing is that how much does it cost for the quick turnaround grading?
I don't know. I know it's not. I know it's not going to be cheap.
Right.
If somebody knows, go ahead and let us know because I do need to save up. But I'm spending it. I don't care.
That's the thing is that for some reason this book is $20, right? Plus the grading fee, plus the shipping back to you, plus having to pay the pressers that we use for having to look at this bullshit.
We don't have to get it shipped though. That's the trade. Is
we have to
drop
get
it off on. No, we drop it off on Friday and we can pick it up by Sunday. If you pay for the quick turnaround, you get it back at the con. If you want it shipped back to you, you don't have to pay the shipping there fee. You drop it off there and they'll ship it to you. But I want to have it on Sunday.
However you want to rationalize it, we are just going to have to be able to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, I spent $200 on a Billy Ray Cyrus book. Because that's what's going to happen.
But we're going to spend $200 on fun. It's not about Billy Ray. It's about stupid fun. And I'm okay with that.
I'm paying $200 so that I get to gut laugh and cry while hanging on to Eric's shoulder because somehow he got a 4.5 because the CGC grader was pissed off that day or something. Yeah.
You're paying to troll a CGC employee, so there you go.
That's true too. That is true too. So who are? I know you like the Black Terror.
Yes.
But what are other characters that just you see a book with them and you're you want to read it or you want to see the art? Who are the characters that are in your top?
Classic Spider-Man, of course. Everyone loves Spider-Man. Silver Surfer. I never really got into DC that much. Everyone loves Superman and whatnot, but there are some really interesting bizarre characters from the Golden Age that I'm always fascinated with. Amazing Man is actually a centaur, I believe, character who's.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there's Hercules from the not the Marvel Hercules, but there was a Hercules for Charlton comics that is really cool. Samson from the golden age. And then I'm getting into some of these Good Girl comics, thanks to Alan. So like the Blonde Phantom, and so like the Blonde Phantom and Venus, and a few of those characters are fascinating to me. So and anyone kind of truly drawn, I'm really drawn to the artwork. It doesn't really matter about the character so much to me.
It's cool. We Raph from Raph's Retro Comics, he sent me a message not too long ago about a character called the Bouncer, I think, who kind of has that. He's a golden age. He wears a tunic. He's like a Greek guy. I don't know how many issues he was in, but yeah, it was just another the golden age. They just didn't. I mean, they were paving new ground. So
yeah, that Bouncer reminds me of the Hangman from MLJ Comics, which is the precursor. Well, he was in the pre-Archie books, and he fought along with the Shield, and the Hangman, though. Like it just feels like a politically incorrect comic to have around, but they didn't care,
No. Our new hero, the murderer.
Yeah, right, you would just think that like that kind of thing was off color even back then,
Yeah, I think so. Maybe, but I think they just back then they really, I don't know. There's just an innocence to everything back then, So who knows? I don't know.
There is that famous panel of Iron Man saying like it looks like you just need some solid dick. So yeah, like words just meant different things back then.
Yeah, maybe.
When I think of the golden age, though, like they were printing these books for kids, right? 10-cent books on the stand. There was no internet network, nothing for people to like get outraged about. That stuff came out. The kids read it. It got thrown away. I imagine most adults didn't check a lot of it out. There was so much, right? They pumped out so many books too. So they were just throwing anything at the wall, and they're just, and someone's flipping through, Hangman, we could do something with that. Yeah,
I think also because they're coming over from the pulps, maybe there was a sort of, well, we're not really always appealing to children. We're sometimes appealing to, and of course, when the war started, they were appealing to, late teen, early 20-year-olds anyhow, so and if you look at, Alan or Steppo's collections or whatnot, those comics are clearly not for children, so
you're right. There is like this like overlap with the pulps where they were trying to get an adult audience in, aside from the kids, but they also had like everybody read back then. It was reading, and it was reading, and so they wanted all. They had books for girls, they had books for women, they had books for men, they had books for young men, and it was just like it. They really wanted all the niches to have. They wanted money from all of those people, so
I think they published probably. As much as they could. Yeah, I've read about how in Japan, for instance, the manga scene there, the mangas are not just for kids; they're for all age groups. Because people are commuting and whatnot, and they're all reading these books. And I feel that pre-television, that was probably very much the case in the United States as well. Everyone was reading. So yeah.
Well, the sort of similar thing is happening with like animation now, because comic books had a reputation for this is a kid's thing, and that's why the whole seduction of the innocent thing happened, is that like our kids were being seduced to the dark side and deviltry and what have you. But a similar thing is happening today with animation. Animation is viewed as being a kid's medium because Paw Patrol exists, but then you've also got things like like most things on Adult Swim and Has Been Hotel, and these cartoons that are very much not for children, very explicitly said not for children, but because some parents are incredibly stupid and they don't have media literacy, they see a cartoon, they try and put a kid in front of it, and then they get upset when they start talking about stuff that kids shouldn't hear. So it's just odd how history repeats itself.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Nothing new on this one.
Yeah. So Frank, not a big comic book guy, but a good friend. So yeah, there was a whole thing in the 40s, 50s with Seduction of the Innocent, which was a book written by a psychologist who was one of history's greatest buttholes.
It was the unsafe at any speed, but for comic books.
Yeah.
I think there will be a bit of a rehabilitation about Frederick Wortham is the professor or the psychologist that you're referring to, and I think Chunko and Big Nasty are going to have on their channel. I think in their next live stream, they're going to be interviewing Bobby, who is Robert Emmons, who is a documentarian, and he did a documentary on Frederick Wortham, and it is a more nuanced look, I think, at Dr. Wortham, because I think most people have it in their mind that he was kind of maybe with the whole McCarthy thing, and he was kind of but he was actually a progressive. He was he worked with civil rights, and he irreparably damaged comic books, but I think he was coming from it at a good place, just with bad science, so. I think tune in to that interview and see. You might be surprised what you hear from that.
I just saw a graphic novel at my LCS. It's newer and it's called Worthless, Werth, and it's about him. And I want to check that out.
Okay.
And then for anybody who doesn't know, it's very small. You can't really see it, but right next to the price there is the stamp for the approval of the comic code. And so that had to be on all books after that book after the Seduction of the Innocent came out, and were there trials or hearings? I feel like there were hearings.
Yeah, that's the second or third seal. There was a seal before that, the shape of a star, and no one paid attention to it. They had it on their books, but no one really abided by any rules. I mean, some of the most graphic EC comics have this little star on it that these are safe for kids. Like, no, they're not.
Right. So yeah, I mean, it just comes down to like if people, it's insane to me where even in modern times, like Hagen was talking about, like people will complain about things being managed by anyone above. Like, I should be able to do whatever I want, and in the exact same breath, everything should be safe for my kids to watch without me having to do anything to make sure of that. You can't have both sides of that. You have to be a responsible consumer, and unfortunately most people aren't responsible anythings when it comes to stuff like that. So just read your comics and know what your kids are doing.
I'm going to play the clip of you saying you have to be a responsible consumer over every single one of your videos. I'm going to go and rip all of them off YouTube, and I'm going to re-upload them with just that clip playing like 10% volume in the background.
I am not like saying that I am like responsible in terms of what I buy, but I'm not complaining that I bought something and I'm like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
Why didn't anyone stop me? I knew what I was doing. I bought that Centaur book on purpose.
And I do wonder why people don't stop me, but I also know the answer already because I wouldn't listen to them, and they tried.
Oh, that is really fun. Oh man, we're getting a lot of drops in here, so I don't know what that one is. The 10-cent plague. That must be another and probably anti-horror and crime comics which like you were saying, those were the ones that were not for kids, right? Those were the ones they were trying to get a different audience. But because it was a comic book, parents are like, sure, Jimmy, here's your dime. And then they see it, they're like, holy smokes, that woman's been decapitated.
Yeah, it's interesting that in order to circumvent that, all I had to do was make the comic a little bit bigger and call it a magazine and say, hey, these are perfectly safe now. Like, well, okay.
Yeah. Do you know what makes this image less traumatic? Making it bigger.
Right. Yeah.
What Jason, is like, what are some books that you have in your collection that you really prize? And I don't mean I'm not talking, monetary value. And it can be monetary value, but like, what are some of the ones, because you have worked on a lot of books as a conservationist, but like, what are some books that you have picked up and that you own that you're just like, I'm just tickled I've got this?
Yeah, Exciting Comics number 9. It's up behind there, which is the first appearance of the Black Terror.
Very cool.
Yeah, so happy to have gotten that, and it's so hard. It never comes up. Last year, all of 2025, I think maybe it only came up, or 2024, I think it only came up maybe twice or 3 times. This year, I saw one heritage auction for it this year, so it rarely comes up. Initially, I don't think people are coming around to it. I think they're really beginning to realize the importance of it. And the Black Terror, and probably not a lot of the audience may be familiar with him, but he's in the public domain. However, he keeps on appearing every decade. There was a book by Chuck Dixon in the 80s that he appeared in, late 90s, early 2000s. Alan Moore did a book that had him feature in it. Alex Ross famously did a thing about him. So he keeps on popping up, and so really dig him as a character. I also have some Rivet style Planet comics, which are they're kind of like sci-fi comics from the 40s. And so the first 20 issues, the logo, I don't have one in front of me, but the logo was kind of like a rivet. They had like little rivets kind of holding the logo in place. And I have a couple of those, and they're in very, very delicate condition. So those will be some conservation projects in the future. And then I was telling you before about the Fox Feature Syndicate books that I had saved from the binder. And here's like one of them. This is Weird Comics number 1. And
no, wrong one.
Boom. Very much so. There we go.
And again, very pulpy, very crude looking. I love this kind of stuff. And then
that's awesome.
The guy in the front, and
that is Please
really
cool. Put that back. Please put that back up. I'm sorry, I was not done drinking in the Mad Scientist. Holy crap!
Yeah.
That is. I mean, look. So you got the evil, like goblin-looking Mad Scientist, the giant monster in the background, and then you've got Dick Squarejaw or whatever his name's going to be in the background, ready to save the day. I love it.
Yeah, Dick Squarejaw, and Jane Dangerous, I think, are there.
I think that might be their actual names. Yeah, you're right. So this came out, I think, in 1939, 1940. So it's early. I mean, if you're thinking superhero comics came out in 38, and this is right at the beginning of that, So I'm super blessed to have that. And then I collect weird science and weird fantasy, the EC titles. So I have a handful of those, not a whole lot, but that's a book that I really love collecting.
Oh, very cool. Did you bring anything else that you wanted to show off? And
yeah, I have this the Cross and the Switchblade that Nate has.
Okay, do you have the Spire Christian?
I do not.
The Spire. So is that the Barber Christian?
Oh no, you're right. This is the Spire. No, you're right. This is the Spire. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
So what's cool about this is that this was a 70s Jesus freak type play, and a couple of characters from like a.
It's a musical. It's not just a play. It's a musical.
Right. Yes. Right. And the music is actually oddly good. Yeah, it's very funky, and it's relevant to me. I am fascinated with Jesus freak stuff. My family came out of a Jesus freak cult when I was a kid, so anything to do with like the kind of that kind of stuff is really fascinating to me. So definitely glad to pick this up.
Dude, I bet you got some stories to tell.
Oh yeah.
My friend Chris from Condition Not Considered, he is the one who let me know it was a musical, and he's like, hey, you got to listen to this one song because it actually slaps.
Yeah.
And they're like 70s funk, and it's the only thing I'll say about Spire Christian is I don't think it's not Jesus Freak. Like now that one might be because it's based on a play, but the stuff that Spire put out on its own, I feel like is very sincere. I don't feel like they're pushing their agenda, but they're not like shoving it down your throat. It is like done in a very authentic way. And I thought the same thing because I was reading, I picked up some of the Archies and some of the others that Spire put out. And as I was reading them, they're very innocuous. They're not trying to, it's not like a chick tract. That's where it gets scary. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Well, when I'm saying,
awesome.
When I'm talking Jesus Freak, I'm talking more like just a combination of the end of the hippie culture or, early 70s, that kind of thing, mixed with, very, very sincere beliefs. And there's a lot of great music that came out of that whole era too. So, but yeah, that's about that. Then I got this kind of cool pulp. It's actually an oversized pulp, Fantastic Adventures. This is from like 1938 or something like that. So wanted to show that off.
That's really cool. Is that a comic or is that like text, a pulp?
It's a text. Yeah, there's illustrations throughout the pages, but
right.
And these pulps, I mean, they got some great cover artwork, and they're fairly affordable depending on what you're looking for. So I think there was a feeling that when CGC started slabbing pulps, that we would eventually see like a pulp renaissance, but I don't think it's ever really kind of happened the way that they thought it would. And then I got very few DC books, but here's a
oh wow. I'm not really into DC, he says.
Well, this will be a future conservation project, and if the price is right, I'll grab it. So,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of, like, when I think of Golden Age, like, I don't want a big collection because I just can't. But like, I would love to have a Jay Garrick Flash book, and I've seen a few and just been like, no, because DCs are pricey. Timelies are pricey.
Yeah, the Timelies are even more expensive, and I'm fortunate enough it's upstairs, but I'm fortunate enough to have gotten one, and that might be the only one I ever get. So I do
cool.
got a Marvel pulp, so you can still get these pulps, and sometimes they're somewhat affordable.
That run of pulps just has like such cool covers.
Yeah, they're very, very sci-fi, and a lot of these pulp artists went off. Alex Schomburg, the biggest Golden Age, artist of the era, he started in the pulps, doing pulp covers, and so yeah. Then for something a little bit more, something more playful, I got this this hi-ho. I don't collect animal comics, but this kind of grabbed my attention. So,
and that's a number 1 too. I mean, that's wild.
I think it only went up to 2. So,
so you almost have the full run.
Well, I have half of it. So. Yeah,
I really like the colors on that.
Yeah, LB Cole, he didn't do the art. I think he did the inking for this, but this is that sort of almost psychedelic, really in-your-face color thing is something that LB Cole was kind of known for. And he really knew how to make his books pop and come off the stand. I really love books that really grab your attention. That I'll buy a book just because of a really neat trade dress, just really cool looking. Speaking of LB Cole, here's another one. Just Frankenstein monster, kind of LB Cole here.
Wow.
I love the yellow outline.
That's awesome. And look at the novel they put on the bottom.
Yeah, LB Cole was known for that. He would on all his comics, he would put these like long stories, like, okay, I got to do some reading before I start doing some reading.
Yo, dog, I heard you like reading.
That's right.
Oh my God.
Hagen's so young.
Jesus, that meme is 10 years old.
It's more than 10.
It's more than 10. Jeez.
It's got to be 20. It's got to be 20. That feels so 2005.
Jason, was your beard
Yeah.
nominated for an award?
Were you nominated for your
It
beard?
was nominated. It wasn't a finalist, but maybe next year.
Hey, good. I'm glad people recognized.
We're gonna try and get Nate's soul patch nominated next year.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Should
Hey,
be pretty white.
I'm working on getting Alan to grow out a full beard, so we might do a full beard no Movember. So stay tuned for that.
I can moderate.
That'd be great. He needs accountability because I don't want him to I don't. Susie, Steppa's wife, was saying that knowing Alan, he'll probably just throw on a fake one and say it's good enough. And I'm like, no, it's got to be a real beard. So.
Yeah. He's gonna glue on a Santa beard or something.
Right.
Oh,
Here's the
nice.
That's so cool.
Yeah. At Heroes Con, I was just really surprised how many of these I saw. Not that they were affordable, but just more of that pre-code horror out there. Especially the ECs obviously are like the most popular because it's the one everybody knows. It's so cool to see those. So cool.
Yeah, they have the best artwork, and there's quite a bit of them out there. So I think that it's easier to collect them just because of that. I don't know why the whole comics code didn't. I mean, a lot of these are, you'll see photographs of these being, burned in the piles, but for some reason a lot of them survived. But I mean, probably because the work is so great on them. Here's another horror comic, Baffling Comics.
Oh my God. Weird, fantastic, astounding, baffling mysteries. Like all the adjectives we had. We used at Thesaurus. I love it.
And then
the Pterodatter clothes. Put that one back up. That one was to entice the young man reader. It just was.
And it's politically incorrect, I think. She's calling them pygmies. So anyhow, there's a thing for pygmies in the 50s. I don't know. There's a number of these books that talk about pygmies. So interesting. And then I got it's kind of neat. So this came first. This is a Wally Wood drawing on this. Wally Wood is one of the premier EC artists, and then went off into Marvel and did some Daredevil and things like that. But early on, he did this alien cover for Strange Worlds. But then a company called IW bought all these, bought the artwork, and then kind of modified it a little bit and threw it on their cover when it was republished. So,
Wally Wood is one of my all-time favorite artists. His retro sci-fi stuff is just so good.
Yeah, like that.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Man.
Oh my God.
I don't even care about the painting on the cover. Just the rocket ship and the trade dress is so freaking cool.
I know.
That's what you just said. Like, I'll buy a book just for the trade dress. Weird science fantasy is like top tier trade dress, and then that they put that, like you said, Hagen, that rocket on the side. You almost look at the art as an after thought, but it's so good. Look at that Wally Wood monster and the bubble helmets and the skin. The woman's suit is skin tight. The men's not so much. God bless Wally Wood.
You gotta love the bubble helmets. And then I was talking about Hercules earlier. This is what I was referring to. And the artist is Sam Gansman, and he. I was working on a book that he had, like a World War II book that he had drawn, and I'm like, I don't know who this is, but this art is great, And then I dug in and realized that he had worked for a number of different companies, usually doing war stuff. He fought in World War II, but he did this Hercules book as well, and I just think it's just really well done, gorgeous looking.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah. I mean, I just have
like
a couple
the trippy detail in there too. Almost looks like Aztec art or something.
Yeah, there's something almost. I want to say like very classical Roman or something about. I mean, obviously that's what they're going for, but just very stylized. And then just these are a couple of recent pickups. Again, I don't buy DC very often, but I've been really good.
A Clumps reference. I didn't have that on my bingo card, just so you know. Hell yes.
Ooh, that's creepy. Can you give us a close-up of the monster on that one?
Yeah. Whoops.
Ooh, that's weird.
So is that the mouth?
Yeah.
That they've got highlighted there?
Yeah.
That's cool. I like these guys. I love 20th era DC. It's really grown on me.
Yeah, again, the trade dress. I love this like dual circle 20 DC. I really think that's clever looking. And this Step Out, I think Step has shown some DC Supergirl books. And I'm like, wow, those are neat looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, who were you talking with that said that the symmetry of the 20-cent covers is good for you?
It's just, there's just some, like, I love the 10 and 12 cent era of DC, Silver Age so much, but especially because so many of the books during that time, that 20-cent time, are like anthologies, whether it's sci-fi or horror or whatever, I just love those too. And so like that era and the fact you got two circles and it feels perfectly balanced.
Yeah.
I think it was Eric from 9 Panel that we were talking about that with. Hagen, if I remember right. But yeah, I love that 20-cent era, and I'm picking up more and more of them.
They're cool. And then I was talking about earlier that one of the first things I worked on was, it's called the Hangover, the Calgary Eye Opener, and this was from the 20s.
Hangover.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's the title. Yeah, and for today's, some of the stuff's pretty racy for today, but
have you been on the internet?
Oh, not that. Well, I mean, not for modern audiences probably, but yeah, we got this kind of stuff here, and our early Carl Barks work, stuff that the good duck artist did, like that. But when I got this thing was all brown. The whole entire book was brown. So, so this was one of the first projects I worked on, where I worked on bleaching and trying to bring back trying to remove all the tannins and all that kind of thing. So
that's really cool. I don't know if I've ever seen Carl Barks draw anything that's not the ducks.
Yeah. This was this was probably about 15 years before he got into that. So yeah,
that's really cool, man. Yeah, very cool.
Thank you.
Are you got more to show, or are you?
I mean, I got plenty more, but I don't have anything in front of me. I mean, if you guys want to see more, I got more stuff. But
no, we don't want to cut people off. And
no.
Also, like you have some awesome books, man.
Oh, thank you.
For sure. So you've been on, like, let's go into YouTube here just for a little bit, because you've kind of been everywhere lately. You were on with Jerry the Jitterbug.
That's right. Mike at Night Tiger Comics, he was one of the first people to really kind of notice my channel, and really, right away he was like, I want to do something with you. I love your collection, and he's genuinely one of the nicest people everyone in this comic book community YouTube world has been amazingly generous and sincere and kind. I'm really blown away by that, because I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting that. And so Mike right away was like, I'm doing a show. I'd like to get you on it. It's going to be with Jerry. And then Jerry also, right at the end of the show, he's like, give me your phone number. If you ever have any questions about conservation, let me know. And I'm like, wow, I'm really, really touched, And then same with Mike and Rich, just really genuinely great guys who wanted to talk to me. And then I got a show coming up with Matt here too at the end of the month, I think. So it'll be fun.
With Matt from Matt Likes Comics.
That's right. Yeah.
So we beat him.
That's right. Yeah.
I usually don't get. sweet, because usually Matt's first to everybody. Like, and you talk about welcoming, like Matt reaches out to people as soon as they post their first video. Sometimes, like he really seems to be combing to bring people into the fold, and I love that about him.
Yeah,
you'll have fun with Matt.
Oh, good. I know I will.
And I will say that I've been lucky enough to meet both Matt and Alan in person, and they are just as nice in person and on stage and backstage as you think they are. That's sort of the neat thing, is that especially like in other communities, there's like an on-camera persona, and then there's the persona that they have when they're not, which is fine. Like it's what some people do, and all of us do that to an extent. But yeah, like if you hear me and Nate talking with one another in like a hotel lobby, it sounds like this. It's pretty much this.
There's just more hand holding.
Well, I love the yin and yang of your guys' channel, you know, where you have the sort of well, Alan and Steppo, they have the kind of the straight man playing off of like I don't know, whatever Alan is, but you guys also, I don't mean that against Alan. Alan's great. I love Alan. He makes the channel so fun. But I love Steven's sort of raw, almost slightly cynical, kind of sardonic take. Okay, yeah, slightly. But I see that also with you guys, where you guys have this really good balance of kind of fun, bubbly, and more subdued, and kind of, you know, let's bring things back down again, you know. And I love that sort of interplay. It's a really good chemistry.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. It's really nice to have the balance of. By the way, I wouldn't say straight man. I would say punching bag is what Alan becomes a lot of times with his straight man.
Yeah. Poor guy.
Yeah, it's just cool to have the balance of Steppo showing off like a Batman #1, and then Nate showing off like a Dazzler, and me showing off like something like this. You know, like
exactly.
It's just cool. I love tarnishing their show.
I do too. Like they're like classy, high-end, graded books, and you know, and yeah, I've got Killdozer.
Well, that's what makes that live so fun, is the fact that there's so much variety. There are so many lives where you're just watching the same. Everyone's got the same kind of book, you know, and I love that mixture. I mean, you got Lyle in there, and he's got like, where did he even come up with that, you know? And
everything. Lyle has everything. Now, he might not know that he has everything because he hasn't looked through all the boxes yet, but Lyle has like just an insane amount of stuff.
And weird things that you would never even think to pick up, you know, like they made that? I don't.
And he seems to trip and fall accidentally into like a lot of cool stuff. I don't understand that guy
I don't,
at all.
Because he does. To me, he doesn't look like a comic book guy, right? But he seems to get approached like everybody knows he's the comic book guy.
Wow.
He was telling us the other day he's at a garage sale, and they're like, "Oh, you're looking for comics?" He's like, "So I bought 6 long boxes."
That's amazing.
Yeah, he doesn't have. He has a goal for the number of long boxes that he wants to get to, which is nuts. It's nuts.
You know, and that there might be something to the whole. He doesn't come off as someone who would spec or something like that. So maybe that's why people think, oh, I can trust this guy. He doesn't care what's, you know, he's not trying to you know, rip me off, you know. So here, you take these.
But he's another person that I think really looks at the books like he is archiving them. Like he loves I mean, the older the books, the history or the obscure, like he's really into that. He writes on the backing board, like he writes all the information he can find. And if he doesn't know something about a book, he wants to know. And that's why he brings it to the Friday night hangout. And we usually get to see something that, you know, we've never seen before too. And yeah, he is one heck of a collector.
Yeah, we get to see rare versions of rare books.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's what I love about the conserving golden age. It is part of America. It's Americana, and and I love the history. You know, when I'm working on these books, I'm putting myself in the mindset of both, the world that it exists in, from the 30s and 40s, and also I'm constantly wondering, what was the kid who bought this at the dime store, or the newsstand? I want to know his life, where did he get this, and what did he do with it, and whose hands did it cross before it got to mine, and what was it like living in this era at this time, and all that's going through my head when I'm cleaning these books up, and I'm fascinated with that history.
So do you have a moment where you're going through one of these books and you see more of these books than a lot of people do, because you take them apart, like down to bare bones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a moment that you can remember where you turn a page and you see like Susie loves Johnny, and it was written like in the 40s or something? Do you have things like that?
Oh yeah, I have a lot of those. I haven't had any like notes fall out or anything like that yet, but yeah, all the time. I almost don't want to, if it's in pen on on the cover or whatever. I'm not trying to take that stuff off, because there's a provenance to that. I love that it crossed someone's hands. Now, if I find something, if it's colored in or just wrecked or something like that, I'm going to fix that. But yeah, I love that the personality to the book that makes it unique, and I don't want to get rid of that.
Well, Hagen and I both like I like date stamps because I think that's part of the story, as long as it's not like there are some that take away from the cover, so I don't like that as much, but like I don't mind it most of the time. And an older book, when a kid wrote his name on it, even if it's not an older book, I don't know, it's just like that means that book was picked by that kid, and it was enough that he was like, I'm putting my damn name on it so that Billy next door can't say it's his, because it's not. This one's mine. It says Douglas. And so I think it's cool when there's just like this. That's passion that was there before, and that's part of that book's story. And I think the same thing. Like I'm just like, what is Douglas doing now? Where is he? Because I've got some of his books, and I want to know like what he did with them and why he decided to get rid of them.
Yeah, going towards what Kate said, I do really love that comic books from their very beginning to now, you can see like the reflection of like American society in them. Like I will randomly be reading a Captain America book, and then there's Richard Nixon, like just out of nowhere. Like you forget that that's sort of the world that you're in, and it's cool when that comes back up.
That's right. Commie Smasher, for instance, when he was during that era,
so bad.
But yeah, and also a good reason not to remove those signatures is occasionally, and I just was reading, I can't remember who it was, a conservation on Instagram, and might have been Don Carter. He had a book that he had in his collection forever, saw what he thought was a kid's signature, and no, it was a creator's signature. And had he removed that, well, that would have been sad, So
that has to be really rare for a Golden Age book to get a creator signature on it.
Oh, it's fascinating when you see them, though, because I don't have any in my collection. I don't think I do. I haven't worked through all of them yet, but and they usually signed not on the cover. They would usually sign on the first page or on the inside of the cover. And that is extremely rare because no one knew that they would be anything. They were just work for hire.
I love seeing it. It happens a lot on Reddit on some of the comic book things. People like, is this anything? And it's a signature on the inside of a book because they don't realize that's what it used to be. And it's like, that's Neil Adams. That's Chris Claremont.
And the fact that it's on the inside. Book. The fact that it's on the inside means that it's probably legit. Like people don't tend to fake inside signatures at all. Really,
I actually prefer that. I love the artwork so much. I don't want anything on it. For even modern signatures, I'd rather an artist sign the inside of the book. But that's me personally.
Yeah, the The first one that I got was signed on the inside, and I feel the same way. I like the covers.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
I want to see these records that are signed Cooter.
You have to send me a picture of them.
Yeah, please send us a picture of a Cooter record. We will
Oh
feature
my
it
God.
prominently.
Yeah, Frank Lloyd Wrong. Show us your Cooter. Go on, don't be shy.
Another one. It's not on my bingo card for this morning's conversation. Oh, that is too funny. Well, Jason, you've been making the round. So you're on with Jerry the Jitterbug, live show, and then you came to Slum It with us this morning. Do you have any other appearances upcoming or any videos that you've got coming out soon you want to talk about?
Well, I put out a video last night. I wanted to throw something out there, also kind of pointing out that I was going to do the show this morning. So kind of throw, so I had to throw something out last night for that. Of course, I'll be uploading videos. I want to try to do at least the goal is 2 videos a week. It usually ends up being 1 video a week, and then sometimes once every 2 weeks. But that's just that's as much to do with editing as it is to do with actual, the actual process. The great thing about the conservation YouTube thing for me is that I'm never short on content. I don't have to come up with something new. I just have to grab another comic book, and I'm doing it as much for myself as I am for the audience. So I don't really, it doesn't really bug me if I don't have the content, and then I'm open to whoever wants to have me on their show, as long as my internet works and I can do a live stream with y'all. I want to really get out the word about conservation. I think conservation has sort of I don't want to say a bad name, but I think a lot of people consider conservation in the same realm as restoration. And in my opinion, they're really 2 different worlds. I mean, conservation technically is like a subcategory of restoration. But as I was telling Chonko and Big Nasty, with conservation, what we're doing oftentimes is we're putting these comics through an aqueous bath where you're putting in a base reserve that you're stripping the books from the acids, because books naturally they acidify over time, and that's what causes the decay. So you can have you will have over time a universal book that's all nice and pretty and slabbed, that's 80 years old, that's falling apart in that slab, and a conserved book that has that alkaline reserve in it that's fighting against that acidification process that will last another 100 years past that, universal book. So conservation isn't just putting the comic books back together again. It is that, but it really is conserving the books. It's saving the books. And I want people to realize that. And I'm hoping that once people know that the value of these books will be realized.
I do want to go back, because you said 2 videos a week. And I know my shooting and editing process is very labored. I'm not, I don't have a good workflow. It's hard. You seem to. Just nuts and bolts. What are you using for your camera? What are you using for your editing software? And you always have really nice music that you found too, because a lot of your videos are almost ASMR with the spraying and the where you're scraping things across, and it's cool. I freaking love that, but it looks good. It's hard, sometimes when you film something, it's not super sharp, but what you're doing, it has to be in order for it to be as captivating as it is. So would you be willing to talk a little bit about technical stuff real quick? Equipment you're using?
Yeah, currently I'm just using my Pixel 8 or whatever phone for shooting. Yeah, it does a good job. I do want to upgrade to a Canon or something like that, but it's a little expensive, so kind of off to the side for now. And I would like to have a setup where I have the phone angled one way and the camera another way, so I can do kind of dual shots myself working on the book as I'm looking down at the book. As far as audio goes, I am usually, or sometimes I'm using Hollyland, this wireless mic
Mm-hmm.
set up, pretty cheap and really nice. And then as far as editing, I use DaVinci, and I'm still learning it. I'm very clumsy with it, so it takes me twice as long. And then I do use a music library that's like I think it's like $5 a month or something like that and I don't mind spending that for unlimited, whatever. And I am picking genres usually like chill hop or acoustic or Indian music or something like that, something that's kind of fluttering in the background that doesn't overwhelm when I'm talking to the camera. And am kind of going for that ASMR. I'm glad you picked up on that. Not intentionally at first, but as I got more into it, I kind of like I got a lot of people who are, I had a stressful day. I pop on one of your videos, I kind of chill out, and I'm like, oh, that's great. That's a nice little side effect of this whole thing,
So I do want to say, like, when you said Baumgartner restoration, I got really excited because I've been watching that guy for years, and that is like ASMR high-end painting restoration. Like it is wild what this guy, like what he'll be given and what he does. And I can see that influence in what you're doing. And I don't mean that in terms of like copying at all. It's just like I can see that like you're trying to showcase your process in a similar manner. And I really do like it. Like it's just
awesome.
one of the I can't believe you're shooting that on a phone because I have that same phone and my camera's not that good.
Oh, thank you. At one point I was doing like 4K recording, and I realized I have to stop and move these files over every hour or so. I can't do this. So it's back down to 1080, and I can't really tell a difference. And if you can't either, that's great.
I mean, on YouTube you can't, and if you ever look at statistics, like it'll be like 5% of people watching on their TV, and I'm one of those people because I'm old and I have bad eyes. But most people just watch on their phone, and 1080p is absolutely fine on a screen that size. There's really no reason to go crazy.
And moreover, I know that during this very stream, a lot of people, like a significant fraction of people, are just listening. They're not even watching what's going on. And while just listening to some of your videos would be missing the majority of the point, I do know that there are videos that like I will watch and then save in a special folder where like this is my doing chores around the house, this is my driving to work playlist, and I'll just
I'm often listening to your guys' lives while I'm working on a comic. So it's background while I'm working on the thing, but good lighting really goes a long way, I feel. So if you got good lighting, you can make something that looks pretty pretty decent. I mean, as far as equipment goes.
Yeah, and you just so I appreciate you like sharing that, because I always like to ask people how they put their things together. I'm just interested in everybody's process, and yeah, you're right with DaVinci. Hagen and I always there's buttons down there I have not touched, and I don't want to because I'm afraid it'll explode. But as far as like once you learn the nuts and bolts of just cutting and putting things together, it's free, it's powerful, it's wonderful, and if you want bells and whistles, it's there.
That's right.
And you brought up the kindness of the community, and before we go, I just want to say that like you're another person that I met in the comments before I knew they had a channel. And so I just, I love that part of this community, how many people there are that like we're in the chats for the lives, whether we're like actively participating or we're listening while we clean up our own messes. I listened to, I was riding my bike yesterday, and I put YouTube on my phone and listened, to a chat while I was writing. And you're somebody who has just, I've seen you in a lot of places. And then I can't remember what night it was, but we were on Alan's stream and you had mentioned your channel, and I'm like, this guy's got a channel. And I went and checked it out. And like I said, I'm just like blown away. Like, how did I not come across this kind of stuff? Hey, Damien.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
Well, thank you. Appreciate
you're a
that.
good member of the community, and you have a great channel. People should check you out. Last question, if he's still here, he might have left already. Came in and wanted to know, is that a Frankenstein and a Predator mask behind you back there on your shelf? What are they?
Frankenstein and a werewolf. It's kind of like
Okay.
a 50s era kind of Halloween masks. Yeah, so they're not
That's
that
cool.
old, but I just we're getting closer to the holidays, so we might as well
Yeah.
keep it up.
It works. It fungs some shui over there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's right.
You just seem to have a good eye all around. Yeah, I look at your
thank
display
you.
and I'm just like, yeah, nice. I got to do something around here.
Oh no, you guys! No, I love you guys' room. Yeah, that's nice.
He said, I like how he said "you guys' room" because he
Mhm.
knows. He knows.
Yep, I'm just through that
Oh,
door
there he
over
is. He's
Nate's
still
right
here.
shoulder.
I'm so glad. Yeah. So I think we can wrap this up. This has been a ton of fun, Jason. This was great to hang out. We're gonna have to do it again for sure. Everybody,
Yeah,
please
same
give
here.
him a sub. We have next week on my channel, it'll be John's Comics with Friends. He'll have to get up early and come and join us because he's over there on that West Coast. And then Tuesday, the FOMO Squad, we've got Johnny. We've got another cleaner, presser, restorer. And so we're going to hang out with Johnny on Tuesday and show some nonsense. Anything
Awesome.
else, Hagen?
No, I think that's just about it. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And remember to spay and neuter your animals.